Hi all! In this video I wanna share with you the laws and rules and all kind of special regulations that you wanna keep in mind if you decide to own a pet in Germany. And I also wanna introduce to you my new friend Chrizzley, an Abyssinian cat coming from Ethiopia, one of the cutest cats I've ever seen. It is very well known that Germans are one of the most pet-friendly nations in the world. According to the latest statistics, there are 35 million pets living currently with German families. German people spend about 5 million euros per year for different pet products. In Germany, you can not only find beauty salons or wellness hotels or funeral institutions for your animals. This you can probably also find in many other countries in the world. So what I was pleasantly surprised to find, it was a vending machine for dogs, selling dogs shampoos and dogs snakes. So something really cute. Not surprisingly, there are a lot of laws and rules that apply when you have a pet in Germany. Let's start with the immigration law. What you have to keep in mind if you want to bring your pet, your puppy or kitten from another European country, it has to be at least 15 weeks old and it must already have the vaccinations against rabies, and followed by 3 weeks waiting period. So if you fulfill this, and you can relatively easily bring your pet from another European country. If it comes from the country outside of European Union, and especially from the country with high risk of rabies, then the animal would have to go through blood test, and it has to be accompanied by an official veterinary certificate, so-called Tier aus Nicht-EU-Staat. Also, the pet has to have a microchip or a tattoo, regardless whether it comes from European or non-European state. So if you decide to adopt a pet in Germany, there are many ways to do so. So one of the ways would be to go to so-called Tierheim, animal shelter. The advantage is not only the cheaper price, but also the animal has already a microchip and all necessary vaccinations. Sometimes the workers from animal shelter would like to know you better, so you might need several appointments to prove that you are a suitable owner for your future pet and you are doing something really good. So I would go for this option. If you are aiming for a more expensive and maybe an exotic animal, then you want to go to an official breeder. The second very important law would be whether you can have a pet in the apartment that you are renting. So it depends here what is stated in your contract and what kind of animal you are planning to get. If you are considering to get a smaller pet like a fish or a hamster, then you do not need to get an official agreement of your landlord. And if you are planning, for example, to have a dog or a pet or maybe an exotic animal, then you have to consult your landlord. Very good to know that your landlord has no right to reject your pet in general, but only if he has an important arguments to justify why you shouldn't have it. So there are a couple of very interesting laws that you should know to avoid paying bigger fines. For example, should you decide to abandon your animal, you would have to pay a really significant fine, 25,000 euros. Should you for example, transport your dog in a car which is not secured properly, you would have to pay 35 euros fine. And one of my favorite, if you are too lazy and you wanna walk your dog out of your car, you would pay 5 euros fine. And we come to the next law, registering your pets. Most of the small pets, and including cats, do not require any registration, and you do not have to pay any taxes for those. But it's not the case for dogs. Every dog has to be registered, and you will have to pay taxes, which is very strongly vary whether you live in a countryside or in a big city. In the small village, you might be paying about 40 euros per year tax, or even less. And if you live in a big city, you would have to pay between 75 and 186 euros per year dog tax. So there are a couple of things to consider here. For example, for your second dog, the tax is a bit lower, and for example, if you can justify that it's a service dog or rescue dog, then you can also get a reduction of tax, or in some cases you might not have to pay any taxes at all. If you are, for example, owning a particularly dangerous dog, in Germany those are called Listenhunde or Kampfhunde, then you would have to pay increased taxes, not surprisingly. So should you not register your dog on time, you might have to pay several thousand euros fine, and for example, it can be controlled when you are walking your dog by the police. I can't imagine if they really do that, but according to the internet, they do. The next very important point for Germans: insurance. So there are two types of the insurances that you might want to get for your pet. So the first insurance, so-called Haftpflichtversicherung, liability insurance. As the owner of a pet, you are always responsible for any damage that your animal has caused to somebody else's property or to somebody else. And in many cases of smaller animals, even including cats, this damage would be covered by your personal liability insurance, so you do not need to get any additional insurance for your pet, but not the case for your dogs. For your dog, you would have to get so-called Hundehaftpflichtversicherung, a special insurance that covers damage caused by your dog, and the prices are about 40 or 60 euros per year. So you want to check it online and find the most suitable option for you. But it's something really good to have. And the second insurance you might also want to get for your pet, at least it exists in Germany. I didn't know this exists in my country, in Belarus. So you might get for your animal health insurance, and there are many types. For example, you can get the insurance that only covers potential operation at a veterinary institution, or you can get insurance that covers all vet treatment. So it depends, and the costs are about 10 till 25 euros per month, but also it just costs I saw on internet, so you wanna check yourself and find the best option that you wanna have. Or you might not have any insurance at all for the health of your animals, or you are not required by law. There are special categories, as I've already mentioned, so-called Listenhunde. It's particularly dangerous kinds of dogs, and for those, we are in Germany, you need a Führerschein. There are two potential types of licenses that dogs owner can get. The first one is called Sachkundennachweis, and this is actually required by many German states if you want to have this kind of dangerous dog. And you would have to go through a theoretical and practical exam to get this. And the second type of license is called Hundeführerschein. It's actually very similar to Sachkundennachweis. It also shows that you are able to control your dog and your dog obeys you, and you have to as well pass theoretical and practical exam. And in some German states, this Hundeführerschein is accepted instead of Sachkompetence-Nachweis, but it's not always the case. If you really want to have a dangerous dog, it was my dream when I was a child. I always wanted to have a pit bull terrier. So there are a couple of more things to keep in mind. Depending on in which state in Germany you are living in, there might be two categories that apply for this kind of dangerous dogs. Category number one is dogs that are for sure definitely dangerous. To own such kind of a dog, you have to get a special permission, and you have to prove that you have the right to own this kind of dog for whatever reason, and that you fulfill all the requirements. So this is the most dangerous category. And the second category, category number two, is potentially dangerous dogs. So in this case, you can get for your dog a psychological kind of test, and it can prove that the dog is actually not that dangerous as it looks like. Something you want to keep in mind when you're choosing your dream dog. Please let me know how these rules compare to the rules in your country. And should you have any questions, just let me know, as usually in comments. And I really hope you find your dream pet very soon. Thanks a lot for watching.